Well, hello and welcome to Bellicose Nation. After weeks and months of speculation, candidate Mitt Romney has made his choice for his vice presidential running mate, and the choice will be Congressman Paul Ryan from the state of Wisconsin. And I'll tell you, I couldn't be more happy with his choice, as I have laid my bet on him all along, even though he wasn't speculated in any of the major lists that you saw circulating around. I thought he would be a natural choice. But who is Paul Ryan? Briefly, he's a congressman from Wisconsin who has been serving inside the Beltway since 1999. He is currently seen as an intellectual powerhouse, particularly in the areas of budgets, and he's currently chairs the House Budget Committee. To be blunt, Paul Ryan is boring as politics go. He is known as a policy wonk. He spends his spare time reading books on economics and studying these issues at a much deeper level than very few of the representatives can or even want to. He seems to have gained the most notable public attention when in 6 minutes he, face-to-face with President Obama, effectively took Obamacare apart by decisively highlighting the smoke and mirrors upon which the program hides behind, from a budgetary sense. All the while, Obama sat across the table for those 6 long television minutes with his mouth nearly agape. Let's take a look at this.
First, a little bit about CBO. I work with them every single day. Very good people, great professionals. They do their jobs well, but their job is to score what is placed in front of them. And what has been placed in front of them is a bill that is full of gimmicks and smoke and mirrors. Now, what do I mean when I say that? Well, first off, the bill has 10 years of tax increases, about $500 billion, with 10 years of Medicare cuts, about $500 billion, to pay for 6 years of spending. Now, what's the true 10-year cost of this bill? In 10 years, that's $2.3 trillion. It does a couple of other things. It takes $52 billion in higher Social Security tax revenues and counts them as offsets, but that's really reserved for Social Security. So either we're double counting them or we don't intend on paying those Social Security benefits. It takes $72 billion in claims money from the Class Act. That's the long-term care insurance program. It takes the money from premiums that are designed for that benefit and instead counts them as offsets. The Senate Budget Committee chairman said that this is a Ponzi scheme that would make Bernie Madoff proud. But there really is a difference between us, and it's basically this. We don't think the government should be in control of all of this. We want people to be in control. And that, at the end of the day, is the big difference. Now, we've offered lots of ideas all last year, all this year, because we agree that status quo is unsustainable. It's got to get fixed. It's bankrupting families. It's bankrupting our government. It's hurting families with pre-existing conditions. We all want to fix this, but we don't think that this is the answer to the solution. And all of the analysis we get proves that point.
Okay, let's take a little personal info look at Congressman Ryan. You know, he was born and raised in Wisconsin. At the age of 16, he found his father, age 55, in bed, dead from a heart attack. He was voted prom king in school. For a time, he worked for Oscar Mayer, driving a Wienermobile. He has a BA in economics and political science. His wife, Jana, is a tax attorney. Together, they have 3 kids. Ryan is a Roman Catholic, and he carries on a serious daily fitness routine, the P90X program being one of them. Now, let's quickly take this selection as VP apart and see what this actually means for the campaign. Number 1, the first qualification for a VP is being able to assume the role of president. No one would seriously question Paul Ryan in this regard. In the 2008 election, Governor Sarah Palin had a difficult time breaking out of the opposition's template attack and convincing the country that she was in fact qualified to assume the office of president. Never mind that she had far more experience than the actual candidate, Barack Obama. So Romney certainly wanted to avoid that similar situation, which is frankly why I believed Mark Rubio would not make the pick. As attractive as a candidate as he is, he lacks in experience. Number 2, Mitt needed to shore up the cultural conservatives, which have never looked at Romney as one of them. Many, myself included, see him as a savvy, moderate businessman, which is exactly what this country needs in many ways right now. But he also seems to be slippery on some conservative issues. Selecting Paul Ryan helps reaffirm this theme of conservatism. Paul Ryan, though not a crusader, is a solid traditional views candidate. Number 3, Paul Ryan will be a hit among all those fiscal conservatives on both sides of the aisle. And I would even wager many in the Ron Paul circle will be coaxed into casting a vote, I'll call it a practical vote, rather than throwing their vote away on symbolism. Now, let's quickly talk about what I think Paul Ryan lacks, or what is his drag. Number 1, Paul Ryan is, without a doubt, one of the most courageous politicians in Washington. Why do I say that? He is one of the very few leaders who have actually touched the third rail in politics, and that is entitlements, these entitlements programs. He has actually put his name to real ideas and real solutions to the severe financial mess that this country is in. He is way past general statements and holding talks. He has introduced detailed legislation, one being the Roadmap for America's Future Act in 2008. Now, you know the Democrats are going to have a field day with this, highlighting the cuts or the changes to these programs he submitted to. As these political ads roll out, you will see exactly why no one else does this kind of thing and why nothing ever gets fixed. They use blue ribbon panels. That's why nobody wants to put their names on it. He couldn't even get support of his own party. Once you put your name to a cut or a change, believe me, my friend, it will come back to haunt you in your next election campaign, and you will see this in 30-second ads all over the air starting tomorrow. So he brings with him a soft target of being on record for supporting the changes needed, and in some cases those are cuts. While President Obama has a bumper sticker that says change, Paul Ryan now has a target on his back which says the same thing. Another point on the downside to Paul Ryan is he's like I said, boring. You know, he's not really that interesting. He's a fairly good-looking guy, which is important in politics, but he's a little bit boring. He doesn't possess the flamboyancy that seems to propel so many political campaigns. Now, historically speaking, the vice president, he usually plays the role in the campaign as the attack dog. This doesn't really fit Paul Ryan's personality, so I don't know how this is going to play out. That's a very crucial voice to have in the campaign, to be the detractor, the attack dog. This allows the president or the presidential nominee to act like he's above the fray and all that. In fact, this is why so many people wanted the governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, to be the nominee, because he fills that role perfectly. But this is not really Paul Ryan's nature, and I think that this is a negative for him. We like to pretend that we want positive discourse and all that, but the truth of it is negative hits work. So I don't think we're going to see these got you moments and these clever gimmicky lines rolling off his tongue like they commonly would off of the average candidate. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so let's wrap this up. In my estimation, Paul Ryan was the best choice, as he captures a number of demographics on the right, which is really job one, and possibly will bring the state of Wisconsin into the Romney column on Election Day. Also, he and Mitt both approach politics with the same straightforward business sense philosophy. Physically, we have not seen a better matched pair since Clinton and Gore. Also, he's worked tirelessly to fix our fiscal house of cards. This may woo in some of the purists from the Ron Paul crowd or the middle who recognize the seriousness of our economy and budget issues. And lastly, Team Obama, with so little to run on this election, have thus far focused all their energy and advertising dollars towards cementing the image of Romney as the rich, out of touch with the common man candidate. Paul Ryan's reform efforts will no doubt be used to solidify that image in 30-second ads. Well, that's my take on this latest development in the 2012 campaign. Here at Bellicose Nation, we are working on a number of other stories, so subscribe for the latest. And I want to hear your take on the campaign and on the selection of Paul Ryan as vice president. So leave your comments below. So until the next time, this is the Bellicose Nation, saving the Republic one video at a time.